So, hi, welcome to our World of Wonders. We're in Victoria Hall in Cobourg. This is the courtroom. Kind of dark. I've got my little flashlight on. You can see I've got the benches. As far as we know, it was used right up until maybe possibly last year. One of the stories is that someone who was found guilty and sentenced to hanging ran to one of the doors. We don't know if it's this door or that door or the front doors here. And the doors to this day supposedly rattle at night from him still trying to get out. So we're going to do some more checking out of what's here. We had a lady stop and tell us that this courtroom is a replica of the Old Bailey room from London, which we'll have to Google, and we'll add that too. There we are. We're upstairs, and oh, come on, don't go out of focus on me. No, it doesn't. This ceiling is absolutely phenomenal. There we go. We have been chasing a little orb up and down the stairs, and there we go. Let me just turn. So when we were all the way upstairs where the art gallery was, I started feeling like really sick. And you have to donate to go into the gallery. And I thought, well, you know, let's just go back downstairs. As soon as we got down to this floor, totally fine. So it does seem like there's something here, but we'll have to wait to check and see what we find. So we're off to our next
pictures. We're after our next site.
Our next site, too. Hi, just got back from our exciting little adventure to Victoria Hall and Sidbrook Hospital on our investigation. And there was a couple of things that I wanted to mention before I forget. A couple of interesting things happened. The first thing that we didn't find out that we had both done until later, we've talked about shungite. I have shungite on the screen back here as well. The black stone from Russia. It's a special stone that we use for protection in the car. I can, there we go. You can sort of see it. It doesn't look like anything special. I mean, you can use hematite and several other stones for grounding and protection, but this is a really incredibly excellent stone for something like that. And something happened later, which I'll tell you about in a few minutes. And after it had happened, I had said to Charlotte, I'm really glad that I've got the shungite with me this time. Usually it's in the car, but I knew that we weren't parked in a place that was bad or that anything could happen. And I had also done protection and asked angels to look after the vehicles and anything to do with Charlotte and I through the day so that we don't have negative attachments. So I wasn't concerned about it, but I felt I needed to bring it. So after something happened, I said to Charlotte, God, I'm really glad I brought it. And she goes, oh, well, I've brought shungite too. She says, normally I bring hematite. So she also had a sense that we needed shungite today. So I have to thank, angels, guides, friends, and elementals for reminding us, or our superconscious, or whatever it was that reminded us to bring it, because we really did need it. So that was important. We met a couple of interesting people. The very first lady that met you, we just walked right into Victoria Hall. The courtroom doors were opened, and in we went. I didn't get her name, but she reminded us that the courtroom was a replica of the Old Bailey in London, which of course now I've got to look up. But the other interesting thing happened. When we had come in, there was an older gentleman watching us, and he may have been listening, I don't know, because Charlotte and I were bantering back and forth. We went in, the courtroom is beautifully, it's like right out of a movie. It's one of the beautiful historical thing, and you just get that sense of like when you walk in there. And we knew this general story about someone who was found guilty. I'm sure the name is in the internet somewhere. And when he was sentenced, sort of no, and ran to the doors and tried to escape, which the doors were locked. Common practice, but if you'd never been, to court before, you wouldn't know that. And occasionally, the people that are in the building at night have said that the doors to the courtroom will rattle as if someone's trying to get out. I've not personally seen it. I haven't talked to anyone who's personally had that happen to them, but that's the story. And we did get, at least I got, really cool orb in the courtroom, one like I've never seen before. So that's really cool. And this older gentleman who had seen us outside and had come in, and we're all like, ooh, introduced himself, John Taylor. It turns out that in 1971, he was one of the main people to do the restoration of Victoria Hall. It seems that the footings of the building were settling and, like sinking into the ground, and that was causing the building to crack. Not a good thing. So the building had been condemned. It was actually shut down for, I believe, he said 4 years, while they fixed everything. And of course the footings was the most important thing to do so that the building is supported properly. And because of the work he did, he actually got to meet the Queen in like 1973 at the Victoria Hall, which is like really cool. And he's trying to get enough funding together to do a documentary about the building, because a lot of people know how famous the architecture is and how wonderful this building is, but there's nothing out there that really talks about the history and what's happened with the building and the restoration of which this gentleman knows every inch about. So he's hoping that if there is enough funding in April, they'll be back. And he gave us his card, named John Taylor. I won't... Is there anything... Okay, the important information I'll cover because, I don't have his permission to say, but there's a picture of him in the doorway. His eyes are closed because my flash was bright. And a wonderful gentleman who said he would try and get a hold of us again, which I hope he gets the funding, and I hope he does, because very interesting. The information he told us was just wonderful. We had 2 other people stop us. When we were upstairs and going through the rooms, there was a young gentleman who obviously works there, and he was in and out of the rooms a bunch of times. When he figured out we're just 2 old broads taking pictures, he's like off and was doing whatever he was doing. There was another lady from the actual City Hall offices who would, can I help you ladies? I went, we're just taking pictures. We've never been in here before. Lived here 30 years and never actually set foot in the building. Well, I'm from Port Hope, so, it's a gorgeous building. I know the architecture is very specific, and people from university and colleges and engineering programs and things come to look at it. World renowned for the structure itself. So, that's pretty cool, but never been in, no excuse, just never happened. And I was in awe of the rooms and the building itself, and to have the orbs and someone playing with this is very interesting. And we followed the orb from the courtroom. Charlotte got it on the stairs, and she's like, I think I got something on the stairs. And as we were going up, she caught it more than I did, but there were orbs going up the stairs. There's 3 stories. The ballroom where they do concerts and things like that is on the 2nd floor. And then, totally fine. Now, I have height issues, so I was walking against the railing with the wall. I did take some pictures down through, because I don't like heights, and, I don't like looking down, and as long as I'm on the other side, I'm fine. Got to the 3rd floor landing, and Charlotte was getting orbs again up by the art gallery door and in a couple of places, and I suddenly started to feel incredibly ill, to the point where I thought there might be a food escape, because it was like, you're like, oh, and I'm thinking, did I eat something weird? Has my blood sugar suddenly dropped? Like, what have I done? And I'm thinking, no, no, no. And she could physically see I was starting to sweat, which, menopause, that can happen. But it happened that fast where you suddenly feel sick, you're suddenly cold sweat. And I'm like, I don't know what's good. And she goes like, do we need to go downstairs? Because she was thinking maybe it was my fear of heights that was doing this, and totally not. So we get upstairs and we go into the art gallery. They've got like a little room where you can buy things. And then the art gallery itself. I saw on the wall, Charlotte had already gone through, she was looking. And I said, oh, Charlotte. It's like, you enter with donation. And I'm like, oh, I says, we really don't need to be in the art gallery. I really did. I just wanted to get off that floor. So she's like, oh, okay. And the poor old guy who was, oh, hi and welcome to our art gallery, he's probably thinking like, what's going on? So when we got to that landing, so each floor has stairs up, flat landing, stairs up. So you're going up this way, then you go back up, and then you're to the next floor. As soon as I got to the landing, I was totally fine. When we got to the second, it's like, okay, I'm not feeling so bad. Down to the second floor, it was as if nothing had ever happened. So there's definitely something in there. We definitely kind of chased it upstairs. And when we were, there's stairs to the west and stairs to the east. So then after we got down, we said, well, let's go up the other side. And when we got up to that second floor again, because I'd said to her, like, we don't need to be going up to the third floor. But they have those old-fashioned metal rung ladders, like the round rung, that goes up to the roof. And they have a metal grid work around so that if someone is, like, going up the stairs here, they've got this protection so that if they lean back, they're not going to go anywhere. So you can see the rails of the stairs, you can see the round rung, or the round protection ring things, but you can see through and up. And I saw a black orb, fairly solid, about this size, comparing to the space of the rails and everything, that moved across, and then it went like that and moved a bit again. And I tried getting pictures and I didn't get anything that I can see. Charlotte also tried to get some pictures. I said, I just saw this dark thing up there. So there's definitely something there. I haven't dowsed yet. We'll have to see, what happens next and what move I take. But there's definitely something there. Definitely an energy that did not mesh with mine at all, because I felt so ill. I'm still feeling like, right now while I'm talking about it, I'm feeling a little funny. So there's work to be done. We'll figure out and let you know. And hope you enjoyed what we've come across here.